The warning was clear, short, and delivered in every known galactic language. Enter Terran space, and you will not survive. The Empire laughed. For centuries, the Varelian Empire had ruled star systems through fear alone. Their fleets burned worlds, erased cultures, and silenced resistance before it could form. Every empire, every federation, every trading union had learned the same lesson. When the Varelians issued a demand, you obeyed. If you resisted, you vanished. So when a small, quiet region of space sent a warning instead of surrender, the Empire did not feel anger. It felt amusement. Terran space lay beyond a dark stretch of void, an area most civilizations avoided. Long-range scans showed no massive fleets, no empire-wide infrastructure, no signs of power. Just a few star systems, heavily shielded, strangely silent. The warning message was replayed in the Imperial War Council chamber. The admirals watched it again and again. No threats, no speeches, no show of force. Just a single line, spoken in a calm human voice. Enter Terran space, and you will not survive. Admiral Koresh, commander of the Empire's third expansion fleet, let out a slow, clicking laugh. He had crushed 6 civilizations. He had watched planets break under orbital fire. He had never seen a warning like this from a species that still used limited faster-than-light lanes. They threatened death, Koresh said, with no proof of strength. Other commanders agreed. The Empire's analysts reported that humans were new. They had no known alliances. They had not fought any large interstellar wars. Their ships were rarely seen outside their borders. No expansion attempts. No demands. To the Empire, that meant one thing: weakness. The warning was labeled propaganda, psychological bluff, a desperate attempt to keep invaders away without the power to stop them. The Emperor himself approved the decision. Terran space would be entered, not conquered, not negotiated with, simply entered, to show the galaxy that warnings meant nothing when spoken by the weak. The third expansion fleet was chosen for the task. Hundreds of warships, planet crackers, carrier hulks filled with strike craft, enough firepower to erase an entire sector. As the fleet moved toward Terran space, the warning was sent again. Same message, same calm voice, no additional threats, no visible defenses. The Empire crossed a boundary. Nothing happened. No mines detonated. No ambush. No hidden fleets revealed themselves. The void remained silent. The admirals laughed again. This is fear, Koresh said. They hoped word would save them. The fleet advanced deeper. That was when the silence changed. Sensors began reporting strange readings. Not weapons. Not energy spikes. Just distortions. Space itself seemed heavier, slower. Communication delays increased by milliseconds, then seconds. Engine crews reported resistance during jumps, as if something unseen was pushing back. Still, no enemy ships appeared. The Empire pressed on. Hours passed, then days. They reached the outer Terran systems. Planets appeared on scanners. Fully developed, heavily populated, shielded beyond standard norms. Defensive platforms were visible, but they were inactive, watching. Still no attack. Some junior officers felt unease. The lack of resistance made no sense. Every other civilization fought or fled. Humans did neither. They simply waited. The fleet received one final transmission. Same voice, same calm tone. You were warned. Then the signal ended. Moments later, Imperial sensors detected something new, a massive void distortion, forming far beyond visual range, larger than any jump gate, larger than any known starship emergence. Admiral Koresh ordered weapons charged. Nothing came through. The distortion stabilized and then vanished. Again, nothing happened. The bridge erupted in mocking laughter. A trick, Koresh said. An empty display. The fleet prepared to advance toward the nearest Terran world. That was when a single Imperial scout ship disappeared. No explosion. No debris. It simply vanished from sensors. Before anyone could react, a second ship vanished. Then a third. No warning alarms. No weapon signatures. just sudden absence. Panic spread through the lower decks. Engineers checked systems. Officers demanded explanations. Sensors showed empty space where warships had been moments before. Admiral Koresh ordered a retreat formation. The command did not go through. Communications were failing. One by one, ships at the edge of the formation vanished into nothingness. Still no enemy appeared. The Empire had crossed countless borders, broken countless warnings. But this was different. There was no battle, no resistance, only judgment. And somewhere in the dark void of Terran space, something vast was finally waking up. The Empire had been warned, and the galaxy was about to learn why. The Empire crossed the line quietly at first. No banners were raised. No formal declaration of war was sent. A single Imperial scout fleet slipped past the marked boundary of Terran space, its commanders confident that the warning had been nothing more than empty noise. For centuries, the Empire had expanded this way. Borders were tested. Weak species protested. Strong ones negotiated. None had ever stopped the Empire for long. Humans, the Empire believed, would be no different. From the bridge of the flagship Glorious Dominion, Admiral Caros studied the dark stars ahead. Terran space looked ordinary. No massive defenses. No visible fleets. Just empty systems and cold planets. The warning echoed in his memory, played back from the Empire's archives. A human voice, calm and steady, had spoken the words, "Do not enter Terran territory. There will be no second warning." Caros had laughed then, and he laughed now. Fear was the language of the weak. The scout fleet advanced deeper. Drones were launched, scanning planets and asteroid fields. They found abandoned mining stations and silent satellites drifting without power. To the Empire, this confirmed everything. Humans were either bluffing or already dead. Caros sent a message back to the Imperial core. Terran space is undefended. Resistance unlikely. Prepare colonization protocols. The message was marked with confidence, not caution. On the outer edge of the fleet, Captain Reln felt uneasy. He was younger than most commanders and had studied the human record carefully. Humans did not speak often, but when they did, their words tended to be exact. He noticed something strange on the sensor feed. Long-range scans showed faint energy distortions, too precise to be natural. When he reported this, the bridge officers dismissed it as background radiation. Space was full of noise, they said. Humans had simply learned how to scare others with silence. As the fleet crossed the final marked boundary, the Imperial navigation beacons went dark. Communication lag increased. Subspace channels became unstable. Engineers worked quickly, blaming unfamiliar space conditions. Admiral Caros ordered them forward anyway. Retreat was unthinkable. The Empire did not retreat from warnings. It crushed them. Hours passed. The deeper they went, the quieter space became. Even the stars seemed dimmer, as if light itself was being swallowed. Then one of the outer cruisers vanished from the tactical map. There was no explosion, no distress call. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. The bridge fell silent. Officers checked systems, thinking it was a sensor failure. Then a second cruiser disappeared, then a third. Captain Reln spoke again, his voice tight. "Admiral, this pattern is controlled. Something is removing our ships." Caros' confidence cracked, just slightly. He ordered all vessels to form a defensive sphere and power weapons. Imperial cannons warmed up, flooding space with heat and radiation. Still, nothing appeared on visual range. The enemy did not announce itself. Then the first message arrived. It did not come through Imperial channels. It appeared directly on every display, every console, every personal implant. White text on black space. You were warned. The human language was translated instantly, as if the message had been designed for their systems. Panic rippled through the fleet. Officers shouted orders. Some ships tried to turn back, but navigation controls lagged, responding seconds too late. A massive shape began to form ahead of the fleet, not jumping in, not arriving with light. It simply unfolded from the darkness, as if space itself had been hiding it. The human warship was larger than anything the Empire had ever built. Its surface was matte black, absorbing light, marked with faint blue lines that pulsed like a heartbeat. Weapons ports lined its hull, each one large enough to destroy a cruiser on its own. Admiral Carroll ordered all ships to fire. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the human vessel. They vanished before impact, swallowed by invisible fields. The human ship did not return fire immediately. It waited. Then the blue lines flared bright. Space bent. Gravity twisted. Imperial ships were crushed inward, their hulls folding like thin metal. Others were sliced cleanly in half by beams that left no heat trail, only absence. Captain Reln watched in horror as experienced commanders died without ever seeing their enemy properly. This was not a battle. It was an execution. The human warship advanced slowly, deliberately, erasing the fleet piece by piece. The message appeared again. Terran space is not empty. It is guarded. In his final moments, Admiral Carroll understood the mistake. The warning had not been a threat. It had been a courtesy. The Empire had crossed a line expecting fear, and found something far worse. Not anger, not hatred, but absolute certainty. For a long time, nothing happened. The Imperial fleet moved deeper into Terran space, expecting fear, panic, or rush defense. Instead, they found silence. Star systems were empty. No stations. No patrol ships. No signals. The Empire believed the silence was proof of weakness. To them, it meant humans were hiding or had already fled. The fleet commander ordered the Armada to continue forward. Every jump carried them closer to the heart of Terran territory. The Empire felt confident. Too confident. The first sign that something was wrong came when long-range sensors failed. Not all at once, but slowly. One ship lost deep space scans. Then another. Communication relays began to lag. The Empire blamed technical faults. Engineers worked harder. Officers argued. No one considered fear. Humans were still unseen, still silent. That silence grew heavier with every passing hour. Then the stars changed, not visually, but mathematically. Navigation systems began reporting tiny inconsistencies. Jump calculations took longer. The fleet slowed its advance. The commander demanded answers. Scientists could not explain it. Space itself seemed different, as if someone had rewritten the rules just slightly. Still, no enemy appeared. At the edge of a dark star system, the Empire finally stopped. The system had no habitable worlds, no resources, no reason to exist on any strategic map. Yet something pulled the fleet there. The commander ordered a scan sweep. The results showed nothing. Empty space. Cold stars. Dead planets. That was when the signal arrived. It did not come as a transmission in any known frequency. It arrived directly inside the fleet's communication network, bypassing encryption and firewalls as if they did not exist. Every screen across every ship turned black. Then a single symbol appeared. Simple. Human. A circle crossed by a line. The Empire froze. No alarm sounded. No weapons fired. The symbol remained on every display for 10 full seconds. Then the screens returned to normal. Silence followed. Panic spread quietly. Officers whispered. Commanders demanded explanations. No one had answers. That symbol was not part of any known alien language. But the Empire understood one thing clearly. Someone had reached inside their systems without effort. Moments later, space bent. It was not a jump. It was not a warp. Space itself folded inward like fabric pulled by unseen hands. A shape emerged from the distortion. Then another, then dozens more. Massive structures formed where empty space had been seconds before. Human warships. They were unlike anything the Empire had seen. No smooth curves. No decorative hulls. These ships looked brutal and functional. Thick armored plates. Exposed weapon systems. Engines that burned with control violence. They were dark, almost invisible against the stars, outlined only by cold white and red lights. Each ship was enormous, bigger than Imperial dreadnoughts. Heavier, older. The Empire scanners screamed warnings. Power levels beyond known limits. Weapon signatures impossible by Imperial science. shield systems layered within layered systems. These ships were not rush builds. They were not new. They were veterans. The fleet commander ordered weapons ready. Target locks failed instantly. Human ships did not jam sensors. They simply ignored them. The Empire could see the ships, but could not touch them. Then a voice filled every bridge. It was calm, human, clear, no anger, no shouting, just certainty. You were warned. That was all. The Empire tried to respond. Their transmission never reached human space. The human voice spoke again. This region is closed. You cross a line. The human fleet did not advance. It did not threaten. It simply existed. The Empire felt small for the first time in its long history. These humans had not rushed to defend. They had waited. They had chosen the battlefield. A smaller human ship moved forward from the formation. It was still larger than most Imperial cruisers. Its weapons powered up, not in preparation of fire, but as a demonstration. The surrounding space vibrated. The Empire understood then. This was not a first contact. This was enforcement. Humans were not reacting. They were executing a decision made long ago. The commander realized the truth too late. Humanity had hidden not out of fear, but out of control. They did not show themselves until necessary. When they did, it was overwhelming. Final. The human voice spoke one last time. You may turn back. This is your only chance. The Empire's fleet stood frozen between pride and survival. For the first time, the galaxy saw humanity clearly, not as myths, not as warnings, but as a power that did not need to announce itself. Humanity had revealed itself, and the galaxy would never forget what it saw. The Empire fleet crossed deeper into Terran space without slowing down. Their commanders felt no fear. To them, humans were still an unknown species that had stayed hidden for too long. Silence was always mistaken for weakness. The Imperial flagship moved forward, massive and proud, its hull glowing with power. Thousands of ships followed behind it, filling the stars like a moving wall. Sensors showed strange readings ahead, but no enemy fleet appeared. The Empire believed the warning had been empty words meant to scare them away. Inside the flagship, the High Admiral stood calmly, watching the tactical display. His voice was steady when he gave the order to continue. He wanted proof that Terran space could be taken like any other. His officers agreed. They believed that once they reached the inner systems, humans would either surrender or be crushed. The Empire had never lost a war when it struck first. Then the sensors screamed. Every screen on the bridge flashed red at the same time. Space itself seemed to ripple. A deep vibration rolled to the hull of every Imperial ship. Officers shouted reports, but none of them made sense. There were no ships on radar, yet energy levels around the fleet were rising fast. Gravity bent in unnatural ways. The stars ahead dimmed, as if something massive was blocking the light. The High Admiral opened his mouth to speak, but the universe answered first. A single flash erupted from the darkness. It was not loud, not bright in the way explosions were expected to be. It was clean, sharp, and final. A beam of pure force cut through space and struck the lead Imperial cruiser. There was no warning shot, no attempt to scare. The ship vanished in an instant, erased so completely that not even debris remained. One moment it existed. The next it did not. Silence followed. For a single heartbeat, the entire Empire fleet froze. Then panic spread like fire. Officers shouted. Fleets tried to change formation. Shields flared to full power. The High Admiral felt fear for the first time in his long career. This was no hidden mine, no random anomaly. This was a weapon, a precise one, and it had come from nowhere. Another shot followed. This time, 3 ships disappeared together. The beam passed through them, as if they were nothing more than mist. Energy shields failed instantly. Armor meant to survive supernovas offered no resistance. The Empire's strongest technology was useless. The bridge shook as nearby ships attempted emergency jumps, but space itself seemed locked. Engines screamed, but no ship could escape. That was when the human warship revealed itself. It did not emerge from hyperspace. It unfolded from a void itself. Space tore open, not violently, but smoothly, like a door opening by choice. The Terran warship was larger than the Imperial flagship, dark and angular, with surfaces that swallowed light instead of reflecting it. No markings, no banners, only a faint blue glow running along its hull like a heartbeat. The Empire had never seen anything like it. A comm signal spread across every Imperial channel. The translation came instantly, as if the humans had studied them for years. The voice was steady, controlled, and cold. It did not shout. It did not threaten. It simply spoke. You were warned. You did not turn back. The High Admiral tried to respond, but before he could speak, the human voice continued. This is Terran space. The first shot has already been fired. Then the battlefield exploded into chaos. Human weapons did not behave like anything the Empire understood. Beams bent around shields. Projectiles appeared inside hulls without passing through armor. Entire ships lost power, drifting helplessly as precision strikes disabled them without destroying them. Others were erased completely, chosen as examples. The humans were not fighting blindly. They were choosing targets carefully, teaching a lesson with every shot. Imperial commanders screamed orders, but discipline broke down. Ships collided as formations collapsed. Some captains begged for permission to retreat. Others opened fire in desperation, launching everything they had at the Terran warship. Their weapons vanished before reaching it, absorbed by invisible fields or redirected harmlessly into space. The High Admiral watched the battle fall apart. He realized the truth too late. This was not a war. It was an execution. The humans had allowed the Empire to cross the line so that the galaxy would see what followed. Another human shot fired. This one did not destroy a ship. It cut a perfect line through the center of the Imperial formation, missing every vessel by meters. It was a message written in light. The humans could destroy them all. They were choosing not to. Not yet. The human voice returned, unchanged, emotionless. This ends now. Withdraw or be removed. The Empire had crossed the line. The first shot had been fired. And for the first time in galactic history, the Empire understood fear. The galaxy had always believed that Terran space was forbidden because humans were violent. That was a simple answer spread through councils and academies. It was easy to understand and easier to fear. But as the Imperial fleet burned in silence, the truth slowly surfaced. Terran space was forbidden not because humans loved war, but because they had learned something the rest of the galaxy never did. Humanity had learned the cost of survival. Long before the Empire existed, humans had nearly destroyed themselves. Their history was filled with wars, mistakes, and losses that scarred their planet forever. They learned early that power without control leads to extinction. So when humanity reached the stars, they carried those scars with them. Every rule they made was written in blood from their past. Terran space was built like a fortress, but not one made to conquer. It was designed to endure. Humans never expanded fast. They never chased glory or territory. They watched, they studied, they prepared. Each system they claimed was defended with layered systems that did not seek attention. Their ships stayed dark. Their weapons stayed silent. Their borders were marked not with threats, but with warnings. The warnings were clear. Enter Terran space uninvited, and you will not return. The galaxy laughed at first. Many empires used threats. Many failed to enforce them. Humanity was young compared to ancient powers. Their quiet nature was seen as weakness. Their lack of diplomacy was seen as ignorance. No one noticed that no one who tested Terran borders ever came back to tell the story. Inside Terran Command, there were no celebrations as the Empire fell apart. There was no joy in victory. Human leaders watched the aftermath with calm faces and tired eyes. They had not wanted this war. They had hoped the warning would be enough. It never was. Terran doctrine was simple. If a threat crossed a line, it would be erased completely. No speeches. No negotiations. No mercy. Humans believe half measures created future enemies. If they acted fully. The forbidden nature of Terran space came from this belief. Humans did not fight for pride. They fought for survival. Any force that entered their territory was assumed to be an extinction-level threat, and extinction threats were not negotiated with. They were eliminated. What shocked the galaxy most was not the strength of Terran weapons. It was their precision. Human ships did not fire wildly. Every shot had a purpose. Every target was selected carefully. Supply ships first. Command vessels second. Warships last. The Empire had expected chaos. They found control. Human technology was built around one idea: end the fight before it becomes a war. Terran weapons struck faster than reaction time. Their fleets moved without visible communication. Artificial minds guided strategies faster than organic thought. But humans never surrendered control to machines. Every system had a human decision behind it. Responsibility was never removed. The Empire's mistake was believing Terran space was forbidden because it was dangerous. In truth, it was forbidden because it was protected by people who had already faced extinction once and refused to face it again. Captured Imperial data revealed something else. Humans had been watching the Empire for decades. They knew its politics, its military structure, its weaknesses. Terran intelligence networks were silent and invisible. While the Empire expanded loudly, humanity prepared quietly. Terran space was forbidden because humans did not need allies to defend it. They trusted only themselves. Their history had taught them that survival depended on preparation, not promises. As news spread across the galaxy, smaller civilizations began to understand. Terran warnings were not bluffs. They were boundaries drawn by a species that had learned restraint through suffering. Many realized they had mistaken silence for fear. In hidden Terran archives, one phrase appeared again and again, a lesson taught to every commander: do not start wars you cannot finish. Humans followed it without exception. The Empire's destruction became a lesson taught in alien academies. Terran space was reclassified not as hostile, but as absolute. No treaties were proposed. No reparations demanded. Humanity did not seek apology. They sought distance. Because Terran space was forbidden not out of hatred, but out of necessity. Humans knew that peace only existed when borders were respected, and if those borders were crossed, peace would be enforced. In the end, the galaxy finally understood the truth. Terran space was forbidden because humanity was not a threat to conquerors. Humanity was a threat to extinction itself. The battle ended without celebration. No victory songs echoed through space. No cheers filled the Terran warship. The silence that followed was heavier than the fighting itself. Where the Empire's mighty fleet once ruled the stars, only broken hulls and fading energy fields remained. Terran weapons powered down, not because they were weak, but because there was nothing left to fight. Admiral Hayes stood on the command deck, eyes fixed on the widescreen. Wreckage drifted slowly past the ship, glowing faintly as cooling metal met empty space. The enemy fleet was gone, not defeated, erased, and still the humans did not smile. Across the galaxy, observers watched in shock. Long-range sensors, hidden probes, and silent listening stations had recorded everything. Every shot, every maneuver, every moment where the Empire realized it had made a mistake too late to undo. The Empire's surviving worlds were already in panic. Messages flooded their networks. Admirals blamed commanders. Commanders blamed intelligence. Intelligence blamed arrogance. They had believed Terran warnings were empty threats. They believed humans were isolated, cautious, and weak. The recordings proved how wrong they were. On one surviving Imperial station, a council of leaders watched the final moments again. A human ship, damaged but standing firm, moved forward while their fleet collapsed around it. The humans did not chase fleeing ships. They did not fire at escape pods. They simply held the line, as if saying, "This is where you stop." One council member whispered, "They could have destroyed us completely." Another replied, voice shaking, "They chose not to." That truth was more terrifying than total destruction. Back in Terran space, the warship slowly turned toward home. Emergency crews moved through its halls, repairing damage and tending to the wounded. Humans worked quietly, focused and calm. This was not glory to them. This was duty. A young officer asked his commander why they had stopped firing when victory was clear. The commander answered simply. Humans did not fight to conquer. They fought to protect. The moment the threat ended, so did their rage. The galaxy would remember that difference. In the days that followed, messages arrived from dozens of species. Some were fearful, some were thankful, some were apologies that came far too late. Terran Command answered only one message publicly. It was short. Terran space is closed. Not because we hate the galaxy, but because we protect it. Respect the line. Do not cross it again. That message spread faster than any fleet ever could. Trade routes shifted overnight. Navigation charts were redrawn. Systems near Terran borders were marked with warnings instead of opportunity. Even pirates avoided the region, passing stories to one another in dark stations and hidden channels. Stories of silent ships, of weapons that did not miss, of humans who did not boast. Children on distant worlds grew up hearing the tale. The empire that ignored the warning. The fleet that crossed the line. The moment the void answered back. Some species learned the deeper lesson. Humanity did not seek to rule. Humans did not demand tribute. They did not expand by force. But they would never again be underestimated. For the first time in galactic history, power was no longer measured only by size or numbers. It was measured by restraint, by resolve, by the willingness to stand alone if necessary. On Earth, most people never learned the full details. Life continued. Cities slept. The sky looked the same. But deep beyond the stars, humanity's shadow had grown longer, not as conquerors, as guardians. The galaxy had tested Terran space and survived only because humans allowed it. That truth would echo for generations. The Empire was warned. The galaxy listened too late. And now, it will remember forever.